Welcome, all you entertainment holics out there in entertainment land. It's time yet again for another thrilling, exciting installment of, you guessed it, Wicked Entertaining, coming at you live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Rock Rage Radio and Rock Rage Live. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel, and that would be Get Real Global TV. And then we're also Get Real Global TV on Twitch and TikTok. And then you can check out our Linktree page to see all of our social media and website links. Just type in at Jennifer DeVoe Muse. That's JenniferDevoeMuse on Linktree. You can check out our radio station, Get Real Global Radio, KGRL, on Spreaker. We're also syndicated on iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube Music, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, SiriusXM, plus pretty much everywhere else you can watch or listen to podcasts. And we're distributed by those nutty people at Sony Music Entertainment, Sony Music Publishing, The Orchard by Sony, and 50/50 Global Music Incorporated. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Jennifer DeVoe Muse. I want to say hello to everyone watching or listening to this broadcast around the world. Right now, I'd be saying let's all say hello to the sultry songstress Amy Bowman, but we're not sure if she's going to be able to make it this evening due to technical difficulties. But that's okay. We're going to bring on the Mac Daddy of Metal, Shyler Staver.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's good to be here. What's up?
We ready to party?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be an interesting night. I'm excited for this one.
I would say definitely. What's up to Dilly Briggs in the house? Hola, chica. What's up? We have an exciting guest this evening, and I'm just very excited to have this episode this evening.
Viewers' discretion be warned.
Oh, God, yes. Viewers' discretion definitely be fucking warned this evening. Anybody who's faint of heart, anybody who is scared of things like porn, scared of things like intimacy. No, just kidding.
We have love problems.
Anybody who can't handle, anybody with a pacemaker that may drop dead from all. No, just kidding. Get ready for it, because tonight, let's get ready to rumble, motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
Have a lot of fun this evening.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to say just one little piece to get us started. We have none other than somebody who Spin Magazine called Slacker Jesus.
There you go.
Rock and roll porn king, none other than Matt Zane, aka Lord Zane, from the highly controversial metal band Society One. What's up?
Thank you very much.
How's it?
Quite the intro. I was really impressed with your whole show. You're like a total pro. I don't remember you being so good.
I wasn't. Back in the day, I was all right, but I have come a long way since then.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I was like, wow, this feels very very professional.
Fuck yeah!
Hell yeah! That's how we like it.
To the next level, my friend.
Yeah,
that's right.
Very nice to meet you virtually, also as well.
Thank you as well. You as well. I'm super stoked. Like I said, Jimmy turned me on to you guys, and I had to do a little homework. And, I did a little bit of Wikipedia diving because, I do some of that dumb shit. I like to see what shit's real and what shit's not. You guys have, and I've listened to your music and shit like that. And then Jenny sent me the movie. I'm like, you guys have done some fucking cool shit, man. Like, really. And if people don't know who you are and what you've done, you have done like shit from here to here to here to here to here. Like, I want to touch on a little bit as much as we can, but please introduce yourself. Tell our fucking wonderful fans who you are and what you're famous for. Please.
Well, I'm not famous. I'm
Come on.
Barely
Come on.
And
that's debatable.
Yeah, and the reason why most people haven't heard about me is because it's been carefully crafted for that circumstance to happen. I am definitely the outsider of all outsiders. I have been kept out of the mainstream music industry for 30 years now at this point. And so it's really no mystery, but that's kind of why we're here right now, because of the my latest offering of my movie, Everyone Dies, Rock Stars Don't Count. So
right.
the majority of people out there, I sing in a band, but I'm also a director. And
right.
Two big main reasons as to why I originally got popular in the 90s and then later in the early 2000s. Initially was for being the youngest porn director in the world, and then creating porn rock, and then later being the first singer ever to do body suspension while performing in a music video, and then live, and then ultimately bringing it to, the largest attended suspension in history in front of about 80,000 people at the Download Festival in like 2005. So that's kind of my credentials. But other than that, I've written a book. I've directed 200 music videos. Obviously, I've done rock docs. I've also had poetry book out, spoken word, a ton of albums.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Just so like a bunch of different things. I've just kind of experienced it all. Excuse. We're gonna have another person on the show here.
That's okay. That's okay. My cat likes to make a regular appearance.
So does our dog.
Background. Like, get the fuck out of here. Mommy's working. Don't get in the kibble. Just
yeah, man, you are a man of very, very many talents. I gotta say, you have done quite a few things. The spoken word thing, like that's super fucking cool to me. And I also, so did you guys film the first music video to completely filmed on selfie sticks, right?
Yeah, actually, I totally forgot about that one. During
the pandemic.
We went down to Hollywood Boulevard, and there was literally nobody down there, and it wasn't illegal yet to be out. So cops saw it, but they just thought we were insane because they thought we were gonna like die from like killing everybody. And I told my band, I was like, yeah, we got to go down and do this. They're like, well, who are you going to get to film it? Nobody's going to go down there. And I was, let's just do the whole thing on selfie sticks, and
right.
Nice. Sunglasses at night. Ironically enough. And it's a tune from the 80s that I've loved.
Yeah. Corey Hart.
Right. Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember, when it came out, and I just always loved it. And I always wanted to do a heavier version of it. And we somehow pulled it off. And you'll notice though, at the time, our guitar player was too afraid to go outside, and that's why he went in the video. But yeah, I really, I still really love that one, and that was with my short hair. So that's the only thing I kind of don't like about it. But when you're a band for 30 years and you're around, you're obviously going to have multiple different haircuts. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, absolutely.
I can imagine.
Yeah, David Bowie,
yep.
Great example.
I say to all the guys who, Jenny can attest that any band that we have on, or we talk to that, has run that test of time and still doing their thing, I have so much fucking respect and love for. You've been doing it since day one, and you continue to do it, and you give people a chance to see you who possibly didn't get a chance to see you before, and become a new fan. Like, hi, it's fucking dope. I appreciate it. It's super cool.
Well, thanks.
And it's an inspiration too.
Thank you. And that was really the whole kind of premise of the movie. And what I wanted to do is we had an opportunity to, the idea was always kicked around for years, but it never really presented itself in a way that made sense to me until we had the opportunity in 2003 to do a comeback tour.
Right.
And so that's why that was a really interesting time that made a lot of sense to do it, because it was like, okay, well, we can tell the past story of the band, but at the same time, we can bring the band out in the current time to see how it does. And so that was that was kind of exactly what you said. It was like we were around for so long. It was kind of like, let's show the younger people that never got to see us, as much as we possibly can.
Hell yeah.
Right.
We didn't know how it was going to go, but that's the other exciting part of the movie.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
I like how you talk about in the movie about like how it's a different culture now than it was back in the mid to late 90s when you were doing that whole, the whole thing with the porn rock and everything else. And, like with cancel culture, you know what I mean? And how it has vastly changed how everything is done, even
Yep.
like concerts, like everything is like, oh God, you showed your butt on stage, or it's like I don't even know how like poor bands like the Genitorturers, do the stuff that they do. I mean, you guys were even on a much harder level, much more hardcore level than that.
Genitorturers are really cool. We've played with them before, and I have some funny stories about them. But that's a great example. People always say, "Oh, well, you should check out the Genitorturers," and they're a very cool band. And don't get me wrong, and more respect to them for keep going just as we are. But it's a different situation. It's a theatrical show that really doesn't cross any limits any more than you would at a horror movie. Even back then. So it's not really the same thing. So it's different. And I'm not saying that ours is better or worse. It's just, it's different. There's a theatrical
absolutely
for their part that's really awesome. But what we did was dangerous. And it was illegal. A lot of it was illegal.
Yeah. I
mean, sometimes you got to stretch the limits. You need to bring out something amazing.
Yeah, like the orgies on stage and backstage and other stuff like that kind of brought that to a whole nother level, which is why, he was called the rock and roll porn king. You know what I mean? Because he's like a porn director, but he's also doing porn at the concerts.
Right.
Yeah, the onstage orgies, nobody ever done that before, and obviously nobody's ever done it since. There was a VH1 special maybe 10 years ago, maybe 15 now at this point. It's hard for me to track all the time, as I'm 50 now, so it's getting up there. But yeah, I remember them doing a thing about shock rock, and one of the countdown things was this one band, and I wish I could remember the name. I'm not purposely not remembering them. They talked about how somebody went on stage while the band was playing and had sex, and it was supposed to be like this big deal, like just one guy and one girl. And I remember watching it, and I don't know who I was watching it with, and I was like, this is just another reason why I have to someday make my own movie, because they think this is shocking. Like when we were doing it, we were having a 14-girl gangbang on stage, and this is a 2-person thing that's happening. Like, you think this is a big deal? So like
hold my beer.
And nobody's ever even come close or even topped that aspect.
Well, absolutely.
Of the band. Like it's not even a thing. Like when Kid Rock saw us doing it and he decided to have porn stars on stage, he did, and that was supposed to be some big deal because he had some of them dance at the Grammys, but they danced. When we would go out there and do it, as you could see in the movie, they would literally, you can see in the movie, they're like sprawled out, spread dildos, finger fist, like it was just, it was insane, like what was happening. But that's why it ultimately had to end, because by the time 2000 hit, like I say, this really happened. I'm performing in front of 10,000 people. That show was with, I think, Motorhead, and we go out there and nobody's even looking at the band anymore. And I'm literally stepping over naked women all over. I don't even know where I could go, because it's just girls crazy, like it was madness. And I was like, all right, this is reached the level now, and I'm done with this.
Right. I'm about to dial it back a little bit. Oh wow.
Yeah, that one had a willing porn stars on stage since then, because like, where do you go after that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
We have 30 girls on stage rather than like 14 wasn't enough, in front of 10,000 people.
Gotta up the ante.
Yeah. Keep going.
Maybe if somebody tries to come back and beat it, then maybe I'll try to like come out of retirement with that lineup. But I'm waiting. I'm still waiting for somebody to do something bigger and better. But like nobody's even come close. I laugh. I see some bands still that have like the dancing girls on stage, like on either side. And I'm just like, man, this is just silly to me. I can't even watch this.
I actually know a few of those bands that show far, especially at the Whiskey. Yeah, I know that they've all been on my radio show.
I get it. They think they're doing something unique and cool because they just don't know. Yeah. So more power to them. I'm not hating. I'm just saying that you have to imagine for somebody like me, when I see that, how amusing it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
For somebody, for you, that would be just like, oh, this is silly. But for most, I noticed that for most rock and roll goers to these concerts, they're not on your level. They're on that level, like on that band level. They're not like ever going to go to a show like what you have put on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Like to them, that's fine. Just the dancing girls. Like that's their version of risque.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so everybody's different in their comfort level. You know what I mean? Not everybody, only, I don't know. Not everybody would go to a show like what you would have been putting on, especially back in the day.
But not only that, it just hasn't existed for so long, you know, like I said, I'm older now. So people just don't know. They think, okay, you know, put a couple girls on stage and, oh my God, look at this, sexy girls on stage.
Oh my God.
They, you know, they don't realize. I mean, there's a really funny story. Like when I was making this movie, I talked to the director of a great movie called Road Dogs. And he's really cool. And, you know, he hit me up and he was like, oh, dude, this movie you're doing is cool. I've heard about it. It wasn't out yet. And he goes, you know, but I already kind of did a movie like that. And I watched it and it's a really cool movie. I suggest everybody check it out. But even he had an idea of what he thought was like the limit. And then he watched my movie and he was like, okay, I didn't realize.
I didn't see what I was talking about. Okay, I got you.
There was I probably shouldn't mention his name. And I don't remember. And, you know, but I remember one point there was a really big band that walked in on an edit session after one of my tours once when I was putting together some of the footage that ended up making it into the movies. This was years ago. And he comes in and he stopped in his tracks when he saw over his shoulder, like me in front of the editing bay. Right. And he's standing back there and he's watching, and he was in a big band signed by like a major label like Warner Brothers or something like that. And he thought he was like the epitome of rock and roll at that point. And he watched it for minutes and he turned to me and he goes, you know, I thought I knew what rock and roll was until I just watched 10 minutes of what you have done. And he goes, and now I realize that I've done and I know nothing. And I would tell you his name, but I just don't want to call him out because he's very well known. But it was at that point that I knew that we were doing things that weren't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ordinary. You know, they were so ordinary that even these bands that were far bigger than us, that had done so much more, that thought they were living the lifestyle, you know, they didn't even have an idea of where the limits were. We redefined those limits were. And so it was happening then and it would happen now. Any of those bands with the girls on stage could watch the movie and just go, oh, you know, we had no idea. If the movie came up and millions of people saw it, I think you'd see bands like redefine what they think was cool and what they think is the edge. But obviously it would take millions and millions of people to be able to see that, you know, in order to be able to have that understanding.
Right.
That's fucking awesome. It's pretty crazy, man. Like you guys have really set a bar. That's what you want to do in music. I mean, as a band, as an artist, you want to set a bar, and you've done that. And that's pretty cool to say. Like everybody aspires to that. The band that I'm in, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to set a bar right now. Like it's pretty dope to see.
Thanks, man. You know, the problem with it is you can set that bar, but when people don't realize that you're the one that it, you know, then you really
absolutely.
And that's one of the main issues that we have because of the fact that we are incredibly unknown. A lot of the things that we do, even when they're seen by people like on TikTok or Instagram or something like that, immediately people will attribute it to somebody like Marilyn Manson. I can't tell you how many people spend and go, wow, this guy does it just like Marilyn Manson does it. And the problem is that Marilyn Manson never suspended before. It's never happened. You know, no lead singer had ever done it, and no lead singer in a metal band until me has never done it. But because of the fact that, you know, sometimes you set these standards, but when you don't necessarily have the recognition for it, it gets attributed to people that didn't do it. You know, like these people are actually seeing me do it online, and they think, oh, well, this is really extreme. This guy has long black hair. I think that might as well be Marilyn Manson. And so they walked away with it thinking that Manson did that. And if I had, my thumbs would fall off if I had to type in every single time no, this isn't Marilyn Manson. He's never done this before. This is me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I do that sometimes, but some days I just don't have the time nor the energy. So it's cool to have all these limits, but it's another thing when you don't get recognized for it and people don't realize it. And then it's a whole nother level when the mainstream music press makes it so nobody can realize that you're the guy that did these things.
Right.
That's the other aspect of being in this band that's really unfortunate. So we don't necessarily get the recognition, within the people because, there's so much content out there now. But then again, it's worse when the major music publications and sites purposely make sure that people don't know, what we're doing.
Right.
Another example, this movie has massive stars in it, massive stars. Jay Gordon, Jonathan Davis, Fred Durst, Dave Navarro, Wayne Static, quick clips from Lemmy, Papa Roach is talking about me, how they wrote a song about me in this movie, so on and so forth. And 99% of the mainstream press refused to cover the movie.
Right.
Any other band comes out with a movie with this many stars in it, I don't care if the band's known or not, the mainstream press would talk about it because of just your star factor. But they refuse to do it. So I appreciate what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm very realistic about the fact that, we set a bar, but if nobody knows,
it's not being recognized. Yeah.
That's
well, and I do think that, I won't say that, the paradigm has shifted enough to where what you guys were doing before will be, like Jen said, will be, okay. But I think the shift is happening because you got all these bands like ICP who has never played big festivals or been on big name things since day one. And now all of a sudden they're actually finally getting, to see mainstream play because of I think that the shift is starting to happen a little bit. I just don't know if it's going to, I'm hoping it happens completely, it's pretty cool to see how, bands are really starting to do these things and come out and show themselves again and be like, yo, this is who we are. This is who we, and we, when people like us get to see that shit, it's cool.
Yeah, and I think ICP is a great example of that. And I think they deserve it absolutely. And those guys.
I'm a huge fucking fan.
One of my movies, they were on Backstage Sluts 1, believe it or not.
Okay.
And I dates with Twisted back in the day.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And Violent J came on some of those dates. But nevertheless, though, I digress. I still think that as much as it happens with some of those cult-like bands getting that respect, I still don't think they're going to give it to us because, we came through in a way that no band ever had before.
Right.
Back to the beginning. We're the first and only band ever to come through porn into music. It's never happened before us. It's never happened after. Some people have tried, but they failed.
Right.
So, I discussed it in the movie, a lot of people weren't really happy about the way that we did it. And that really set the tone for the entirety of our career. So I just don't think it's going to happen because, as much as ICP didn't get a lot of mainstream respect, they still got respect. We get no respect, it's
fuck
bad. It's so bad that when we did that last tour, I got on that tour through a favor, through having to do a lot of directorial or film work to be able to get into that situation that I was in order to be able to film that movie. But when we were on that, one of the bands on that tour, and again, I'm not calling them out. They all have their own reasons. And again, I have a lot of respect for these guys, was Mushroomhead. And while we were on tour with them, we said to them, hey, man, we've been trying to tour with you guys for 20 years or whatever it is, We'd love to get on your next tour. And we were talking to the main guy, and he said, yeah, absolutely, man. We opened up for them. I think we opened up for them, or I think we opened up for them, or the band right before that or whatever. And so they saw us. We were on the road with them for a couple of weeks. They said, call our agent. And so we called their agent at the end of the tour, and we said, hey, how do we get on this tour? And they said, okay, the buy-in is X amount. We said, okay, fine, no problem. We have the money. Then we had another big friend of ours that's in a bigger band make a call for us. Hey, you got to bring these guys out. You already met them. You saw how nice they were. It's all cool. They offered your buy-in. Our agent's all the same agent. We're going to put those guys on. Got the word put into us. And then they were like, nope, not going to happen.
Wow.
And so that's just, now listen, they have their reasons. And again, I'm not saying anything negative about them. That's fine. It was their tour. They're allowed to pick.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
We're on tour with the band. We offer them exactly the amount of money we have. We get called in favors by bigger bands that bring them out to get us on. We already knew them. We already toured with them. We all got along really great.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even let us tour. So,
interesting.
you just got to add it up. No major blabbermouths, loudwires, revolvers. Nobody picked up the movie. Bands won't bring us out. That's a great example of one example that won't bring us out. So, I mean, we're so far behind where ICP was, because at least they could tour.
Right.
At least they had their events. And it's the same thing with even the social media. Like they refuse even to allow our posts to get put into the popular feeds. So we even get it on that. And I'm not making, this is not an exaggerated claim. They will literally send me messages saying, you know what? If you continue to post this content, we're going to remove you from the circulation of our feeds because we don't agree with the type of content that you're posting. So it's not a speculation,
right.
It is, it's real. And
it's absolutely happening. Yeah.
We show the fact of the strained relationship that I had with Lemmy from Motorhead. We show the relationship and what happened with Mark McGrath and how I was banned from the VH1 networks and MTV networks because of him. We showed what happened on the Howard Stern show. We showed what happened on the last tour. So, we're in a very different category than the majority of those bands. A lot of everybody wants to believe like, people are keeping us down or whatever, but we show you, and now
right.
I tell people even more. What's the point of it? I mean, there's really no point other than the fact that, we're just trying to tell our story. And that's why now we're we're trying to tell the story also through the documentary.
Right. You think you'd be perfect for the Howard Stern show? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you'd be definitely perfect for the Howard Stern show, considering where he came from and the stuff that he's had on his show and his movie. And like all the shit, you know what I mean? Like,
but Jen, it would have happened back then if you watch the movie again carefully. Mark McGrath goes on Howard Stern. Howard Stern himself brings up me by name and my band name to Mark McGrath. All Mark had to do was say, "Oh yeah, this thing happened or whatever, and this and that," and then it probably would have created a rapport, between Howard and I, where he maybe ultimately would have had me on. But Mark McGrath, not being dumb, knew that feuds create publicity, and he didn't even want to give me the respect of mentioning my name, so he pretended like he didn't know me. Now they brought receipts, so he had to admit it, but nevertheless he wouldn't talk about it. And that was stifled. And Howard Stern, if you listen to the full version of that, it's not in the movie because I didn't want to bore people, but Howard Stern was like, I was really hoping to hear about this. If Mark would have fueled the fire, Stern probably would have had me on at that point to say, hey, because look at all the great feuds that happened, all the Eminem feuds that happened on that time. Yeah. And that Eminem blew up because of that, and him kind of taking the mantle of shock rock from Manson, and taking it on his own shoulders by admittance. There's a lot of things that could have happened, but Mark McGrath refused to let it happen because it's like, I'm not even going to give this guy enough respect because I know that it's going to ultimately help his career. So once again, people say, oh, you would have been perfect for Stern. Well, he was already talking about me. So why didn't it go further? It didn't go further because Mark McGrath's team were like, do not mention Matt. And if it gets brought up, if you get called out, make sure stop it in the bud. Don't let him get any bigger. And that's just been the gist of it, And again, it wasn't just him. I don't mean to call up Mark McGrath, Lemmy's a god, and he's an absolute like a legend. And I love Motorhead, and we've played with Motorhead. He was in Backstage Sluts, but he hated me. We had major issues with each other. And I talked about it briefly in the movie. I didn't really go into the details of it because I figured, through all the interviews, I could talk about it now if anybody was interested. But that's just another example, of a major guy that had a lot of issues with my career. And it doesn't stop with him. We didn't talk about all of them in the movie because it would have been, 3 hours long. We had System of a Down. Certain members had major issues. We had a person that was going to be interviewed about what happened between us and them. They backed out of the movie because it was too controversial, but that's another band. Major issues with Ministry and the management there. If you knew the stories of Ministry, Al Jurgensen took half my band in 2003. Literally took half my band. He took my guitar player and my bass player. And there was major fallout from my band because of when that all went down. We didn't include that in the movie. You know what I mean? So it goes on and on and on and on. Society One is an incredibly interesting case study in terms of what it really means to be, that true band that really is the anti-band of all bands. People think it's Manson, but people love Manson. Manson's awesome.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Manson's mainstream comparatively.
He's not anti anything.
Yeah,
no.
He's loved.
I get shit for it, but I'm not a huge Manson fan. My wife is. I'm not.
You know, and it's I take nothing from Manson at all. But
no, absolutely not. He is
loved. He's royalty.
Absolutely.
If you want to be hated and you want to look for the band that throughout the last 30 years that really is that anti-band, it's not Manson. It's this band. You don't have to look any farther. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, I really wish that we could have gotten Manson for the movie to really talk to him, because we have met before briefly, and we hung out briefly before. And so I absolutely know he knows who I am. He may not admit it, but I mean, I'm not talking like a hi bye thing. Like, we were literally at the Rainbow together after a Pantera show one night. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And we had my publicist was a mutual friend of his, and it was a crazy night. Billy Corgan was there, you know, whatever.
Oh wow.
I could go on and on, but nevertheless, you know, it would be great to get his thoughts on it all. But you're never going to get somebody like that to talk about like me, because again, those type of people don't want to validate, you know, who I am. And that's part of the reason why we weren't able to get a lot of people in this movie that were also part of the story. Thankfully, we do have on film, like Papa Roach talking about my connection to them, and Dave Navarro.
You made them. They said you made them. You made their career.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
I mean, I don't know. That's what it says. They even said it out their own mouths in the movie.
I won't let them speak for themselves. What I find more important, more flattering, is the fact that they wrote one of their biggest hit songs about me, and they talked about it in the movie.
Which song was that?
I Almost Told You I Loved You. If you go to the end credits of the movie, you don't have to hear me say it, because Jacoby Shaddix tells the story himself. He said, this is how this song was created. This is where the chorus came from. And this was about a good friend of mine, Matt Zane. And people, I never tell that story because people don't believe it. So I included him telling the story in the movie himself, because most people are like, you're a nobody, you're a loser, that you're lying. Okay, well, watch the movie and let Jacoby himself.
If people only fucking knew, dude, like you fucking filmed some really big music videos. You've been a part of a lot of like incredible shit that people just don't get it. Like, I mean, I get it. Maybe some of the shit a lot of the shit you've done is massively shocking. I mean, I'm going to show the trailer here in a minute for Everyone Dies, Rock Stars Don't Count, but it's fucking incredible. Just the even Jay Gordon was talking about how you were suspended over him. And like, you know, when you guys are on a tour together and stuff, and like some whole like thing you guys were doing, and it was crazy, and you know,
like a lot of people don't realize, like the movie, as a director, I've done a lot of really interesting things and got to work with some amazing people. And just to name a few, just so people don't think I'm bullshitting, one of my greatest accomplishments, my favorite band ever, was The Doors. I actually shot the 50th anniversary of The Doors down in Venice, and The Doors themselves used 13 different pictures of mine and credited me for them. That's
fucking awesome.
As a director of photography at his house for a commercial where I was able to talk and, you know, with them in the whole bit. I've photographed Robbie Krieger, you know, from The Doors separately multiple times. I've done commercials for Zakk Wylde, Pantera, Ozzy Osbourne. I've shot multiple. I shot Wayne Static's last 3 music videos.
Nice.
Away. One of those videos was with DMC from Run DMC. I've shot stuff with, you know, I can't even think of all the other names. Like, it gets into name dropping but I can't remember. But there's just a couple to give you an idea of people that I've worked with. So you know, like, people have no idea. So again, it's like I'm constantly discredited on multiple levels, but really, if I don't try to convince anybody. I just say, you know, hey, look at who I've worked with, and look at the names and look at the things that I've done. Right. And working with those people, by the way, were great. They were all really great. And DMC and I actually later, this is discussed in the movie, ended up working on some tracks together, and I produced a couple of tracks with us on them and stuff like that. So I even got to do some music with them, which again never came out because management put a halt on it. But there's another story for you.
I swear to God, as soon as they find out you're a porn director, I swear to God. No, I was kidding.
Man, it could have been, but they wouldn't tell me. You know, it was really funny because we got through DMC and I 2 songs and 2 videos. And I was talking to him and he goes, call my manager. I said, because dude, don't you think it's time we start to make this official? He's like, yeah, call my manager. And I get on the phone with the management. And I don't know if I was talking to Run DMC management or DMC management. They didn't make themselves clear because I get on the phone and they go, hey, how did you get to DMC? That's the first question they asked me. It wasn't, let's talk about the music or, wow, you're a good songwriter or whatever.
Right,
it was, how did you get to him? And I was like, excuse me? Like, why does that matter? Exactly. They wanted to know like how I infiltrated like past them. And basically when they told me that there's no way that they were going to let all the stuff to come out, I said, you know what? I'll be, okay, fine. For whatever reason, I'm not going to go into it. I said, but let me put this out to you. I also know that they managed like Public Enemy, I think, and a couple other people. I said, look, you heard what I could do. I've obviously am good enough to work with your artist because he's worked with me. We already made music videos. If you want me to pull all this stuff and back away, that's fine. Hey, but let me submit tracks and produce tracks for, Public Enemy and all these other artists that you have. And I'll just behind the scenes. Yeah. And they were like, no, fuck off. No. So they wouldn't do that.
You're amazing at what the fuck you do, dude. I've seen you in I've been on set with you when you have filmed music fucking videos and shit.
Well, this wasn't just for the music videos. This was for the tracks, for the music.
Yeah, doing the
right. I said I won't even be. I'll change my name and I'll just do it behind. Okay. And they're like, no, we don't even want you anywhere. In this.
Jesus,
that's
fucked.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so
that's
Skylar,
crazy.
Like you said, like it's one thing to do things.
Right.
If nobody knows, did you?
Right.
Really
right. Exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
I feel where you're coming from. I feel where you're coming from exactly for sure. Oh, by the way, we got to say hi to Lou Gordon in the fucking chat, and Salvatore, and Jonathan Price.
So
Salvatore, I love Lou. If you're watching, Lou, hi, how you doing? It's been a bit.
I love you.
Lou's one of my favorite people on the planet. I mean, I've known these guys. I met Orgy in like fucking 2013 at the House of Blues in West Hollywood when it used to be there before it became a parking lot or whatever the fuck it is. and I've thrown shows at the fucking Rainbow and the Whiskey and like shit.
Badass shows at the Rainbow.
And that's, and I know what you're saying in the sense of like, I'm really well known in the industry out in LA. But like, if nobody knows all the shit that you've done, then like, are you really that well known? I mean, I am within the circle of all the fucking people. I mean, I've worked with fucking thousands of bands between my radio shows, between the concerts that I have put on. I do my own concerts, my own festivals, my own everything. And I started from the ground up by watching other people doing it. You know what I mean? But watching Scum Love and other people,
people know. I mean, I could name drop and all that. I mean, people know, big people know who I am, but they just think I'm a piece of shit. I mean, and that's just the way that it is, and it's fine. And the stories I could tell you, they probably didn't. It's crazy the people that I could get on the phone or through Messenger, and it's silly, but it's right. It is what it is, like. Right. I'll tell you one story if you want to hear one. I think I could probably get away with it. Not too weird. But this is a true story. In '99, we were on tour, and we went through New York City, and we played CBGB's, and it was still a club. And older people will know what that is. Yeah. Anyways, we had a lot of heat on us because we were all over VH1 at that point. We had like 2 or 3 shows, and it was the band was really hot, but we were on our own label, which was unheard of back then. Anyways, we're getting a lot of heat, and Roadrunner Records heard about us, and they send out a guy, and this guy was Monty Connor. I don't know if you know who Monty Connor is, but he's an absolute legend now. This dude was like the main guy at Roadrunner in their heyday. Like,
okay, yeah.
Now he's over at Nuclear Blast, but he's a legend, and he's a nice guy. I like Monty. So he saw the band, in '99, and he saw us, and he was disgusted. Like, he was absolutely disgusted by the show that he saw. And this is before cell phones. He gets out of the club and I don't know if he goes to a pay phone or his office on Monday back to Roadrunner or whatever, calls up our lawyer at the time. And he left a message on his machine because there was answering machines back then.
Right.
So on Tuesday, and I go, how did it go with Monty Connor, like with Roadrunner? And he goes, well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to play you the message. And, he holds the phone up to the answering machine and he's like, yeah, I saw your guys, man. And honestly, man, it was, they're a bunch of clowns and it was completely, I was appalled and disgusted.
Fuck.
And, yeah, it was pretty brutal, right?
Just the shit you don't want to hear at all.
Like, yeah. So it was really upsetting because it was like, wow, this is like Roadrunner Records.
Fuck. Yeah.
And this was in 99. So fast forward to 2025. And I messaged them before the movie came out. And I said, yo, Monty, what's up, dude? I go, check this out. Like, check. I know you're
Hell yeah.
I go, but watch a little bit of this. And he wrote me back like this pretty decent thing. And he's like, look, dude, like, yeah, like I still don't like what you do, but like kudos to you for never giving up and doing
hell yeah,
getting all this stuff done. And, like, gave me like a thumbs up, like you're still a piece of shit, but congratulations. I still don't like you. But I think I have the message. I gotta like copy and paste it because nobody's ever gonna believe me if I say this. But that really happened, So like it was funny that literally 26 years later he was like, okay, you know what? I still don't like it, but you're still here and you're still obviously doing some shit. So and it's really impressive, you know what I mean? That really happened. And
hell yeah,
a really funny story that didn't make the edit. When I was researching for this movie, I was trying to get our old agent and Rammstein's old agent to be interviewed for the movie because in 2005 we actually got asked to go on tour with Rammstein.
Oh wow!
I was gonna ask you about that. I was gonna ask you if you had played with them.
Yeah, and then they kicked us off the tour before it started.
Fuck.
And when I researched the movie,
that's some shit. If you get kicked off a Rammstein tour, fuck.
We had the dates and everything, right? Oh, and when I did research for the movie, and I hit up my old agent, the first thing my old agent from Europe said to me is, make sure you blur me out of everything in the movie because I do not want to be associated with you, number one.
Oh my God. Okay.
And number two, I do not want to be interviewed for the movie or be associated with you. But what he did is he actually dug through the emails and copy and pasted the email from Rammstein's management kicking us off the tour. So
oh my God.
It really did happen. I saw
that's nuts.
Email. And this happened in 2005. And this is a real thing. Like we were considered too much in 2005 to go on tour with Rammstein in Europe.
That's fucking really crazy.
That's nuts.
That's nuts, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, honestly, that's fucking clappable. Clappable for sure. Hell yeah. Put him to shame.
I see you're a fan over here, Lord Zane, by the name of Jonathan Price.
I don't know if he's a fan.
Nothing can stop Society One. Matt is amazing. Fuck the industry with his microphone penis stand. Matt Zane is the anti-hero the music industry needs back again. I love it.
They're never going to let me in. And it's so funny because when some of this movie went out to the diehard fans, everybody said, you know what, man, you should have been bigger. You should have gotten your due. Yeah, but we're just glad that you could tell the story. And I said, you know what's going to happen? This movie is going to go into the underground. People are going to reject it. But in about 10 years or so, or 15 years, it's going to finally get noticed. And they're going to come back and go, oh, we finally respect you. You've got to come and do a tour. I'm going to be like 65 years old. And you know what I mean? But I'm going to do it because it's going to finally be my due. But I'm going to be literally 65 or 70 or something like that. And it's just gonna be
that's going to be fucking crazy.
You know what I mean?
You know what? I think we need to play the official trailer for this fucking movie.
Absolutely.
So people can see just a little bit of the nuttiness. They're obviously not going to be able to see it full on hardcore, but you guys need to watch this damn movie, I'm telling you, because
yes, you do.
If you like raunchy, if you like porn, if you like seedy underground, like fucking hardcore shit, you will love this movie. I know I did. I was watching at work, and I really shouldn't have been doing that. But I kept the volume really, really low. I was doing taxes for at my job, and I didn't have any customers, so I was in my back office, and I'm sitting there watching this, like, holy shit, I really need to keep this volume down. And hope to God that nobody walks by while I'm watching this, because they're gonna think I'm watching hardcore porn at work. But I swing both ways, so it was nice to see the women. You know what I mean? I got I got an eyeful, and I was happy with it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Yeah. But I'm gonna we'll put you guys in the waiting area. We're gonna play this amazing fucking movie trailer, so I'm excited. 1 second.
Hell yeah!
Woo! All right.
Matt's brilliant. He's totally stole the whole show.
From director Lord Zane.
And so that's why we had to have the guy on suspension to pay homage to Matt Zane.
Actually, like this society won.
We've inspired each other's lives and touched each other's lives.
Playing with Society One, that was fucking nuts.
One incredible story.
I met Matt Zane when he inadvertently helped ruin a relationship that I was in while I was on tour.
Okay, so one time, this girl invited me to a porno shoot. It was a Matt Zane porno shoot. It was like filming a lesbian gangbang.
The first time I met Matt Zane was during the Backstage Sluts thing.
This time, reality overtakes fiction.
Backstage Slut 2.
I got a boner. I don't run out.
There's a new one out called Backstage Sluts. You're in that one too, aren't you?
Oh yeah, doing an interview thing.
This is every girlfriend's nightmare.
The story told from those who lived it.
There was a show that I think we weren't able to perform because they were protesters because of their antics.
You're gonna make Satan, Lucifer, your buddy when you go to hell.
I think it's out there that he's got a mic stand with a big old cock on it.
That is officially the most amazing thing I've ever done. I've never been lifted up by a man on meat hooks before.
And here comes Matt, pulls down his pants and bends over. The bass player and guitar player lean in, and it looks like they're licking his ass.
Shock rock was being pushed even further.
I knew that you were like a troublemaker and you were causing some, crazy shit, but that's kind of what I expected. I mean, like, I didn't think you were gonna go out there and be like, hey, I'm a ballerina.
20 years later, we're back in a van.
Hey, look, we got a call from apparently this woman wants you off the tour.
You know what goes on at a society on the show. You're probably gonna get hummed, might get licked, I don't know, but it's gonna be fucking sexy.
For whatever reason, we cause issues, we get reactions, good, bad, whatever, we pull attention away from things. There's always some type of energy around us that just disrupts everything.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Badass.
Thanks.
That was fucking awesome, dude.
Fuck yeah. So I was laughing because I just realized. So I play for a band called Severed One. I sing for a band called Severed One. Our logo is S1 as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And they're the guest next week.
Yeah, we're the guest next week.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
not as controversial as you though, Matt. But I'm telling you.
No. We're just heavy.
That was
Yeah,
an
that was really-
awesome. I really liked the trailer. You did a really good job putting that together.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. That was I did that, and then got a lot of direction from Thunderflix, the movie company themselves. But so they helped, put some ideas and kind of how they wanted to look for their channel. But yeah, I did that.
Right.
Actually, I did that myself. Did all that.
That's awesome.
So is that
man.
more of a type of channel that would be willing to play your kind of content?
Well, right now it's the only channel that's willing to play the movie.
Right.
It doesn't mean that in the future
interesting.
there won't be more. I actually got a call from a label today. Obviously, I can't say who it is yet that's interested in the movie. So we'll see who else picks it up over the next 3 months. But as of right now, you can see it's thunderflix.com. We got a great 3-day free trial. So anybody can go check it out. No risk, but it's a great channel. And they've got only music up there. It's like Netflix, but all music.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great channel. And I got to really hand it to all those guys over there. They did the premiere, and it's up there now. And it's doing well, as can be expected, considering the fact that literally, as I said, all major music publications have rejected it, except for one major podcast place over in Spain. Finally did a piece on it, not yesterday, but the day before. First day they did it, it got 50,000 views.
Fuck yeah.
Wow. That's fucking awesome, man.
If somebody like a Blabbermouth or whatever would pick it up, or Loudwire or whatever, or Metal Hammer, I think it would do really, really well. But we'll never know if they won't.
Well, jokes on everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm distributed by Sony. So try to get away from it, bitches. I'm distributed by Sony. Anywho, so we can do whatever the fuck we want to. Plus, you're on Rock Rage Radio right now, which is one of the biggest online rock fucking metal goddamn radio stations out there.
What I actually do when I'm done with the podcast is I'll get it later, and I'm going to chop it up into 20 different segments, and then put it out everywhere. So you're actually out of this and any other podcast you've ever done. Because I'm obviously also an editor, so I have the ability to do endless content, and that's the one thing that they're like, how do you do so much content without being a big band? Because obviously you've got bigger bands but they have whole social media teams,
right? Which I fucking need that.
How is it the fact that you just have? And I'm like, well, because I have a whole production studio where I can obviously do the same stuff. Because I do it for other bands. I just literally did. If you go to the Static X Instagram or site, they just released a new trailer for their new tour, Machines and Monsters. I did it. So it's
oh fucking yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Like
it's Static X and Guar, and I actually created that promo for them. So
hell yeah.
That's what I do for a living. So I'm able to also turn that back on my band. So what we're doing now is just the beginning. I'll chop this up into 20 different pieces, over the next month.
See, I need to learn more of that, that type of stuff, like as far as the content goes. And I'm one of those people, I definitely need to, hire a fucking marketing team. I have different people that, share and do things for me, but I need to go bigger. But everybody's always asking me, like, how did you get with all these places and do all this stuff? I say, because I work my ass off for it. You don't just get handed Sony. Not just everybody can be on different all the different platforms I'm on. I finally got us on like Sirius XM and Pandora. I got us on fucking iHeartRadio, like everywhere, like every fucking place known to man. But I had to bust my ass for all that. You don't just get that type of shit, like handed to you. especially the Sony gig. I mean, fuck, I worked my ass off for that. You know what I mean? And I mean, I would love one of my biggest goals. Actually, that'd be kind of badass. I was thinking to myself, like, I always wanted to take Orgy on tour. That's one of my big things. Put like a big music festival together, have Orgy as one of the headliners, stuff like that. Well, like, you know, it'd be awesome. Like, I would hire you. I would have somebody play my fucking show. I'd have you up there as one of the, you know, one of the last pieces of the night type of thing, you know, like the headliners and stuff. Like that.
If we ever opened up for Orgy ever again, you know, we toured with Orgy before a couple times, and if we ever opened up for them again, I think I may give Lou a heart attack. So I don't know if that would be good.
Really? Well, I mean, you know, Lou would eventually forgive us. I mean,
eventually,
Lou's very forgiving, very, very wonderful man. His tall, wonderful, you know, African American soul. I love him so much.
Very intelligent, very sexy man.
He is. Lou Gordon. I mean, you know, he's a badass, dude. I love that dude. He's one of my favorite people on this planet. Him and Jay, you know, well, because Jay and I tell her, like, okay, Jay and I have the same birthday, so like every year he's on my show. It's like our birthday episode. It's like a thing that we do.
Yeah, Jay's great. Yeah, Jay is in the movie, and he performed with me while I was suspended. We've toured together. He actually came to the premiere, so it was really cool to be able to have him there, you know, and get to thank him.
Oh, I wanted to be there.
That's awesome.
I was like, God damn it, why do I have to live in fucking Maine?
And we did. Jay and I. What a lot of people don't know is Jay and I actually did a record together for Japan.
Shit!
Weeks ago, in 2004. Called Guilty Gear. Nice. And it was me and two other vocalists, and Jay produced it. And it was for a Japanese something or other. But yeah, we actually did a record together.
That's badass.
Was it possibly for a game?
Yeah.
Because Guilty Gear is a game. It's a video game. It's a badass.
But it was a real album.
Yeah.
It was a real album.
Yeah, that's fucking badass. Yeah, I played Guilty Gear. That's fucking dope.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
You've had some amazing experiences.
Right.
And
hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and all the people that have been at your amazing experiences or have been involved in your world know the shit that you've done. And I just hate that. Like, I understand like the industry tries to shut you out and stuff like that. But there are people out there that love you, people out there that know you, people out there that enjoy your shows, enjoy everything that you do. And
Absolutely.
Fuck the haters. You know what I mean? Fuck the haters.
Yeah,
that's always been my motto in life. Be you. Don't be somebody. Don't be what they want you to be. You know, don't be a carbon copy of whatever.
Yeah, but Jennifer, it's like it's very easily said. The problem with it is that when you are kept out, you don't have the monetary return.
No,
right.
Which limits
very true.
Your ability
to
not only do it, but to get it out there to even more people. So unfortunately, it does matter. Everybody that constantly says, "Oh, just keep doing you," you know, they don't realize that, you know, by not being allowed into the club, you know,
right,
held down not only by the lack of awareness, but also by the lack of money that you're able to make. Because that's what it really does come down to. It doesn't matter whether you're a big artist or a small artist. You need money. You need money to live.
No, that's true.
You need money for time to be able to create your art. Then you need money to be able to promote it. So the challenge and the reason why it affects me isn't because I want people to like me as a person. I don't care about that. I don't need anybody's But I do have a desire and a drive to continue to create, to bring my vision to life. But you need money. You need time to be able to do that. And the platform from putting you out there, unfortunately, hinders both those things.
Right.
So you can have an attitude or like a fuck you, you know, attitude of an outlaw, but it only will bring you so far because ultimately you're yelling so much that you're just yelling in an open field.
Yeah.
You know? Good point.
That's the
argument. That's a good point. Absolutely.
That's the problem I find myself in.
Got you. I'm glad you're able to do the editing, like music editing and video editing and being a director and other things like that. Because I know that allows you to, you know, kind of like do your creative piece, still be creative, still be, you know, like doing things, doing projects, making money. So I hope that's at least giving you something for, you know.
Well, I mean, it's allowed me to obviously stay afloat and continue to do what I do, but there's
That's good, at
absolutely
least.
limitations, absolutely 100%.
Okay.
And I'm going through a time right now where it's probably I'm the most limited I've ever been because the movie costs so much money to make.
Right.
And it emptied my bank
I see you.
account.
I see.
Anybody that thinks that making a record's expensive is funny to me. Anybody that thinks making a music video is a big deal is funny to me. Try making a movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, right. That's really expensive.
And
Yeah.
true cost at that point.
Right.
And I was even unaware of the cost associated with it. And it unfortunately caused a tremendous dent in my ability to support myself and to continue to live. I mean, I think I'll make it out,
man.
but if so even doesn't matter that, okay, maybe I made enough money and I do well enough to make a record or a single or videos, but I just don't want to do that. I want to make movies. And so I did.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
You don't have the support and you don't have the help. Little known fact about the movie, I actually had an investor and a producer in the beginning of the movie. They both backed out mid-movie.
Really?
Shit.
So when I already had the majority of the footage, I had a choice to walk away from it or I could finish it. Everybody said, dude, walk away because you're going to go bankrupt doing it. And I did basically almost go bankrupt because they were right. I had no idea, but I didn't want to let the movie go because it was always a dream come true to finish it.
Right.
So it was brutal. It was a brutal process, and it still is brutal because I haven't dug myself out of the hole still. I drained my entire bank account and then went an additional $10,000 on credit cards to get it done.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And the movie was cheap. That's the funny part about it. The movie was cheap to make comparatively to documentary movies. And I'll give a little inside tea. The movie only cost $75,000. So I was never a rich man. But if you want to empty, you can now do the math of how much I had in my bank that I emptied, and then I put another 10 grand on credit cards to finish it.
Right.
That's still a lot of money. Even, I mean, yes, comparatively to other movies, that's a cheap budget.
Yeah.
But when you don't got it like that and don't have like the support system and everything, and did you, I don't know if you even tried to do this or if you thought about doing this. Did you look at like the Indiegogo or GoFundMe aspect of things?
Yeah, I don't really think anybody would really do any of that, and I can do that based off of merch sales. And I have merch sales, but they're not so great to the fact that I think that would really make any difference. And I just didn't want to be up here begging for cash. Like I said, I had the money. I just unfortunately went all the way to zero negative to be able to get it done. So maybe if the band was bigger, the interest in what I was doing was a little bit bigger, maybe the next movie, I'll do that because the next movie, I think it's going to be a much easier sell. I can't really talk about it at this point, but it's going to be with the Planet Selling Act that I'm involved with. Maybe for the next one, or maybe I'll get an investor between now and then, you just don't know. I'm just glad that it's done. And I was willing to do anything that I had to in order for it to get done and to get out there. It really meant a lot to me because more than anything else, I don't mind being that anti-hero. I don't mind people not liking me or respecting me. But what I do mind is my story not being out there. Nothing more than people looking at me suspending and going, "Oh, it's Marilyn Manson." Because, it's like, fine, you can say Manson's better, more successful, more talented. Fine, I don't mind because it's all subjective. But please don't tell me that my accomplishments belong to somebody else.
Right.
Yeah, no, true.
So that's why I wanted the movie to get out there. I wanted my story to be there. So anybody that I argue with anymore in the future, I could just say, here's my movie, go watch my movie, then come back to me.
Right.
Tell me that I've done nothing that everybody else has all done, go watch my movie. Because nobody ever suspended before me. Nobody ever made porn rock before me. Like it's proof. It's no argument. But nobody knew. Yeah. Now here's the proof. So go watch.
Yeah, exactly.
And have that argument. That's what matters to me right now in my life, and especially like 50 years old. Because 50 is not 40. I mean, 50. I could be dead in 20 years. You know what I mean? It was very, very important for me to have that out there and to have it on
legacy.
Yeah, right. It really was. And now legacy. That it is like. Okay, I still have a lot more that I want to do. We're putting out new music next week, and we're doing even more shocking shit with the next video that's never been done before. So I'm not done, but I had to put out what I've done thus far.
Right.
You definitely push boundaries. I know that just working with you on the set of music video for Fate Destroyed. That was I know you've done a couple of their music videos.
Yeah, I think I did one or two. Yeah,
I think you've done two. Yeah,
I don't think there's bands there anymore. But yeah, like, but that's like one thing. I mean, the stuff that I've done and like what I'm doing, even like the next video, like that's truly pushing the limits. Like that, what I did even in the next video, people looked at the movie and said, "There's nothing more than it can be done." Now that we've watched it, and I was like, "Okay, you think that's the end? Watch the next music video that's going to come out, because we're going even to a place that nobody's even dared in music ever have gone before. Not your Genetic Torturers, your Mansons, your Wednesday 13s, your Cradle of Filths, none of them. You know what I mean?
Well, we're going to have to play that on the show when it comes.
Hell yeah.
Good luck with that one.
Why not? Why not? Why not? I mean, I mean, I don't know. Is it something that'll be allowed on YouTube? I mean,
I don't know. Whatever. I don't know if it's going to be able to stay up there, but I'm going to like look into ways to be able to get it hosted somewhere else if it isn't, because it is an absolutely touchy subject that's like socially irresponsible and not accepted. But my point with the whole thing is the song is called Lose Your Faith. And it just would have been so trite to come out with another video with imagery that was blasphemous towards the Christian faith, because it has been done since 90 whatever, when Manson was doing it, when it used to mean something. But, now, you just look at the last two videos. And again, these are great bands. I have nothing against either of these bands. But if you look at the last videos that came out by Cradle of Filth on Wednesday 13, that just came out last week, the imagery and both of them is, it could be swapped. And it's been the same stuff that Manson was doing since 96. And it's just so acceptable now, because there's nothing that is controversial or subversive about being anti-Christian. It's been to the point now where it's the norm. It's like it's Halloween, and maybe that imagery in those videos would have meant something back in 96 when Manson was the Antichrist superstar, but it's not 1996 anymore. So for me, it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna talk about losing faith in a way that nobody's ever addressed losing faith by, talking about in imagery through being blasphemous through the Islamic religion, because nobody talks about that or addresses that because of fear of backlash. And so, talk about a real shock rock band, here we are again addressing things that are real dangerous, that have the real possibility of backlash, just like when Manson, kudos to him, in 96 had the real possibility of backlash because of the dominance and the power of the Christian right at that time. You saw the picketers at his shows and all that stuff. I think we're both old enough to remember that, but that's not the deal anymore. Now it's a joke. Now it's just a thing. It's a costume. Now
those type of people are back out.
Anti-authoritative now and really against something. You've got to go into the realm of what I'm doing now, or what I'm about to do, next week. Yeah. And again, it's not even something that I think people are willing to even say out of their mouth. When I talked to my publicist about putting the ideas out for the video, he refused even to talk about it by name. He's like, he's showing through imagery, this and that or whatever, how it's unhealthy, but nobody will even mention those words. The moment, you bring a Muslim across your lips, people start to get nervous. What I mean?
Yeah, because
in general, and I'm not afraid to talk about it because we're Society One, and you two might not even be comfortable with bringing it up on your show because you may have.
I don't really have a problem with pretty much anything in life. I'm one of the most shockingly crazy fucking people I know. So, dude, there isn't really too many subjects that I wouldn't talk about or haven't talked about or haven't lived.
And Skylar, you can understand as well. This is a very taboo subject. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's you don't see any other band broaching this subject or this topic or being disrespectful in this way to try to prove a point. And I want to say this just for the record, in case I die later or get blown up in a terrorist attack. The idea behind this video is the fact, it's very simple. It's right now in reality, in the world, and I hate to make this, theological statement or a political statement or whatever, the problem in the world right now isn't through Christians or Jewish people or through Hindus or Buddhists or even the Satanists. The problems right now is through the Islamic religion. That's where all the terrorist attacks and the rape gangs and all the issues are right now in the world. And if those people were to lose their faith, and I'm not calling for a genocide of people or for the violence that could be against people. I'm just saying if they were to lose their faith, there would be a lot less problems and a lot less violence in the world right now, just by them simply losing their faith. If Jews or Christians were to lose their faith right now, the world wouldn't be that much different. They're not the ones going around causing all the violence and all the problems, or even the Hindus. You know what I mean? So that's what this song addresses, and that's what it's about. It's about the idea that if you could lose your faith, just one specific ideology, the world would be a more peaceful place. But apparently we're not supposed to say that right now. You know what I mean? But it's like, even though it's staring at us in the face throughout the entire world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't argue that. Like maybe you feel differently about it. Maybe you feel that, but you can't argue about it because it's not easy to talk about, but talk about what's out there right now. Where's all the rape gangs? What religion are the rape gangs right now? The last 10 terrorist attacks in the world, what religion was it? You know what I'm saying? All the problems in the Middle East right now, what religion was it? And again, I don't need to get my soapbox and talk about it. I'm just trying to state basic facts here so people understand where the video is coming from if you are going to play it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because again, I want to be clear, I'm not calling for violence or eradication of people. I'm talking eradication of a faith.
Yeah, no, that's different.
If
different.
The Christian far right came back and started creating a lot of violence to people, I'd be preaching against that because I'm not a religious.
They're verging on it. I think
they haven't, and they're not.
Not yet. Not yet, but I fear that it could eventually occur.
You can fear all you want, Jennifer, but until there's Christian gangs going around in America raping people, then we can have that conversation then.
Not at this time in history, anyway. Not at this time in history.
But it isn't, and that's the point. You see, that's why raging against it now isn't going to prove anything. It does nothing.
No, totally.
You know what I mean?
No, I just mean in the past these things.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the past. I'm living in now. I'm making music and art now to say a statement now. To even mention the past, they did all that stuff in the past, it's pointless. It doesn't mean anything. There's no power there right now. In the future, fine, but it's not the future. It's not the past. It's the present. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not trying to get all crazy and hyped up about all this, but people got to understand something about me. Like, my movie's my movie, but they think I do one thing and I codify an aspect of my life, and now I just sit and ride off into the sunset. Real artists don't rest. Real artists don't stop at what they've done and rest on their laurels. Some do. Manson's doing the greatest hits. All he's doing is just going up there and posing and singing. More power to him. He deserves it. But that's not me. That's not society one. We're not done. You're like, as you can tell, like, I'm very passionate still about this. Like, this isn't some show, dog and pony show. This isn't a magic show. This is reality here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Totally. I agree.
Absolutely.
Artists never stop creating.
Nope.
A true artist, anyway. You just go, and fight for what you believe in.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's you've got to push all art. It's in most exciting form when you're breaking and pushing boundaries, and it doesn't have to be social or political means. It can even be by musical means.
Totally.
The fact of the matter is this: like, Pink Floyd were at their best when they were pushing musical limits. When they wrote The Wall, that had never been done before. I mean, imagine. But that was pushing the limits politically as well as musically.
Exactly.
And then in terms of art, it was pushing the limits because it had a movie attached to it.
Right.
So but the moment that they get somewhat complacent, it just becomes kind of tired. And you can even see that with members of Floyd now. So it's like, I'm just trying to avoid that stagnation.
Yeah. I feel the same. I'm a huge Slipknot fan, and I feel the same way with them. When they first started out, like, there was only one other band in the world that was doing what they were doing. That was Mushroomhead. Yeah. And then Slipknot came out with this new sound, this new dynamic, this new something we'd never heard before. And it was 2 albums of this just holy fuck, what is going on here? And then they got complacent, and that stopped. And it was like, and then it started to sound more like Stone Sour, and you get bored, and it's
yeah.
you know what I mean? And
It's
that's from I'm a diehard fan, so I'm like,
Yeah, but because it's hard to keep that level of intensity and hunger going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Corey Taylor's really super cool. I got some cool stories about it, but I won't tell you because his wife hates me. So,
oh damn.
True story. I did a video with her once, and she was like, she hated me ever since the music video I did.
Really?
Oh yeah,
wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
That's crazy. Like, why though? Why?
I was a little intense on that set that day, but I had to corral like 30 extras. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you guys could tell just from like 5 minutes ago, I can get pretty over the top.
That's all right.
So, yeah,
it's okay.
Like
I do too.
You're like passionate, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can get pretty intense.
Look, there's not too much I haven't seen or heard at this point in life. I mean, I get called fucking female Howard Stern all the time. I mean, Howard Stern when he was raunchy back in the day, not this
Jennifer,
fucking whatever now.
You've seen it all, right? You've seen it all, right? You just said you've seen it all.
I mean, I owned my own swingers club, for the love of Christ.
Okay,
you know
so I'm
I mean?
just saying, I'm establishing that fact. So now I want to ask you a question. If you've seen it all, have you ever seen a music video like the one that's coming out of mine next week?
Not really, no.
Not really. Have you ever seen anybody ever do that before?
No.
There you go.
I think it's awesome. I like the fact that you like continuously surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the things that I didn't know about your band from the last time that I had you on my show years and years ago. A lot of things. I mean, just like watching this music video really like kind of be like, oh, holy shit. This is badass. This is some shit I'd never seen before. And this is like, I've never been to a goddamn, porno rock show. Like, you know what I mean? That's pretty badass. I'm like, holy shit, porn rock. I didn't even know that was a goddamn term. I think that's badass. Like, I learned a lot of new things about you and just about like that type of stuff. And I was like, holy shit, isn't that a concept? Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's freaking badass. And then the suspension thing, I was like, holy fucking shit. Yeah, but then when Jay talked about it 3 weeks ago on the show, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know what to expect. And then you sent me that, and I watched the movie, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. I mean, I'm an artist management also, so I manage a lot of freak show performers. You know what I mean? I work with a lot of the performers that have worked, Not Fest and all those different things, And I've seen people suspended just like that, but I'd never seen it in a rock show setting. Like like you're flying across the stage and Jesus Christ, the fucking injuries. Just like all the injuries that fucking happened to you throughout the goddamn movie. I'm like, I'm surprised every bone in your body isn't broken or hasn't been broken or like shattered pelvis. I don't know. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. I got to be careful because I am getting up there.
I'm surprised you don't have a bionic spine at this point. I mean, goddamn. I was like, holy shit, this guy really takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
That's what they say. I'm waiting for it to all break down. Everybody's waiting because they can't believe it,
Some of the shit you were doing, like some of the that part where you like fell into the crowd and shit. Like I've seen you like do some crazy shit.
Nothing in that movie was crazier than when I fell off the stage head first. That was the worst.
That's what I'm saying. And then like you got injured and like whacked your head or something. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, is he okay? When I saw you fall like that, I was like, holy shit, is he all right? Did he just pass out? What's going on? And then you got up like a champ. You got the fuck up. I know, barely, but you got up. That's a rock star right there, my friend.
Hell yeah.
Rock star. I was like, God damn. He's a hardcore motherfucker.
Yeah, who knows on the next tour if there is one.
We'll you're gonna slow it down now that you're getting old or whatever. Like
the fact that I pulled that last tour off like I did at 48 was pretty amazing. I would love to try it again at 50, 51, 52. So we'll see. Because, the bottom line is this. I'm not saying like I'm the only guy touring at 50 because all those bands do it. But
you look great for your age, though. You wouldn't know you were 50.
But if you look at their performances comparatively to mine, it's very different. Like some of them sound great still in 50, 51, 52, but like it's not what I'm doing. Like what I was doing at 48, I don't think anybody almost has ever done. If you want to laugh, I for argument's sake, I think the two greatest physical performers of all time is James Brown and David Lee Roth, right?
Yeah.
I think in their heyday, I think obviously James Brown and David Lee Roth were better than me. I'll admit that. They were absolute influences. But with that being said, I went back after that tour that I did when I was 48 years old, and I looked at all the jumps and all the things I did. And then I went back and looked at footage of James Brown at 48 and David Lee Roth at 48. Yeah. And I have to say that all of us at 48, I win.
Yeah, no, totally. Another person I have mad respect for on stage is Jay Gordon. I mean, the man just turned 58 and he goes hardcore still. Like, I have respect for that.
And just for all the haters out there, I'm not saying that I was better than James Brown or David Lee Roth. In their heyday, they destroyed me. I was saying 48 version-year-olds of ourselves, I somehow maintained my performance closer to my 21-year-old self than they did.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
I was watching you on that tour for the 2023 there, and I was like, holy shit, like you got it. You still going like a champ, dude. I was like, fuck yeah. I would never even known you were that age. I guess I didn't think about it. Oh yeah, well he was like, in his like early 20s or late teens in the mid 90s, you know what I mean? So that tracks age-wise, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it. Like I'm 50 years old now. It's crazy. I'll be 51 this year. So yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy to think about. But yeah, I got in pretty lived experience on TikTok before they changed the algorithm. So we got all these really young fans that were like 16 to 21. And they saw all this stuff that was from 25 years ago. So we wanted to give them the closest thing to that show that we could. So I grew the hair out and got really in shape. And we put on the closest show that we could from 25 years ago. And that was the whole point behind it. And it was
right.
raw, but yeah, that was kind of the idea, because you mentioned earlier, like, wow, you grew your hair back out. It was specifically for that tour. I'm probably going to be cutting it. Not all off, like short, but like changing my hairstyle again now because I'm moving into a new chapter. But yeah, it was a conscious idea for that tour to get that look back, to combine all that stuff from 25 years ago to the current tour, to give those fans the experience of what it may have been like 25 years ago, because that's what they saw on TikTok.
Right. Fucking crazy, dude. I was like, holy shit, his hair's really long. I'd never seen your hair that long before. I was like, God damn. I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So like, that was the conscious decision to kind of, bridge the gap. I mean, I'm not married to it, so I don't mind changing my hairstyle if you looked at all the styles I've had through the year, but that was an absolute conscious decision to be able to connect the movie, the current version of me, to the younger version of me. And it's a very subtle thing that we did in the movie, but if you notice, if you go back and watch it again, all the younger versions, if you look at the framing of the screen, it was in something called 4:3, where there's black bars on either side of the screen. But then when you fast forward to the current, it was in current framing 16:9. And that's the way that we differentiated the time periods, was through the framing of the screen, because I looked so similar from the current version into the past version, and that's how we differentiated between the two.
Okay, nice. That's fucking cool.
Be able to just have an experience of not too jarring. I wanted it to be subtle, and that's why I tried to get the look to have the look the same as back then as in the current version. And then you notice now the new music video, it's a whole weird look, and then I'll probably cut my hair to a new style, and it'll be like a new thing now for however long I keep going, until I break, like you said, or until somebody blows me up.
I was thinking, I don't know. Do you want to play the sneak peek for the?
You can play the whole video. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. When this thing comes out, I think it's going to get taken down so fast. I'm going to simultaneously upload it to everything. I'm going to go to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. I'm just going to put it everywhere just to see if anybody keeps it up before I have to find a secret way to. Because I don't think people are going to. I don't think anybody's going to allow it to keep up. I just don't.
So you think I should maybe just play the single from Spotify then?
No, play the video. What you should put it out there because it's not anything worse technically than what Wednesday 13's news video is. But I mean, seriously, like it's the same thing. He's got women in collars. He's being blasphemous towards Christianity. He's got lesbian action going on in Catholic confessionals. It's just considered acceptable because it's Christianity. Mine, unfortunately, it doesn't have anything worse visually, but because of the fact that we make it very apparent of the literature that we're defacing, that's going to be the problem. You've got to understand something. The last time somebody defaced this specific book that we're talking about, he was murdered. Yeah. In 2023, he was murdered for burning this book. So imagine what I'm doing to this book. Did you see the video yet, Skylar, or what?
Not yet. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so you don't know what I'm talking about, but like we face this in ways that it's never been done before.
Right.
And it's implied, but you know what the hell's going on.
Right.
So go ahead, play it and see what happens.
Well, I say let's fucking play it. Why not?
And then I want your opinion. You're in a extreme metal band. You let me know what you think after it plays.
All right, hold that thought. We're going in the area. 1 second.
Good luck.
That's badass. The music is super heavy. I can't hear. You're cutting in and out, Jenny.
I don't think that's that bad, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Not really.
No, it's shit's heavy.
It's heavy, yeah, but I don't think
Super
it's like
fucking heavy.
Oh my god! Oh, that's fucking horrifying. Like, I don't think it's. I don't know. I didn't find offense to it.
There will be people who will be super fucking pissed. Yeah, but it's. I mean, it sends a message, you know, and it's super fucking heavy. It's bad. It really, you guys really remind me of Typo Negative in your sound style. Like, it's just so fucking that
song, yeah.
Like, fuck, man, I love that sound. That deep metal sound is fucking bad.
Yeah. So what happened was you know, we do a lot of different styles, but
right
with Spotify now, you can see what songs track the best.
Right.
And our biggest song we ever did was a song called "I Love Her," and it's got the most listens on Spotify, and it's in that Typo style.
Right.
And so when we decided to come out with some new tracks, a lot of them are in that style. I absolutely love Typo. Don't get me wrong.
So do I.
Love them. But for me, it is a Typo style. But for me, honestly, it's also very modern Doors.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes, yes.
So like I give all the credit to Typo, but like to me, my voice it's more Morrison-esque when it's low like that.
Yeah.
Peter Steele. Peter Steele,
I can see that.
Sounds like a vampire, and there's it's amazing. It's an amazing voice, but I don't think I sound as good as him down there. But down there, I think I sound more like Morrison than I sound like Peter Steele.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I can see that.
It's a really good sound, bro. The vocal, as from a vocalist to a vocalist, it's a dope sound and a beautiful way to use vocals. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, but that's for me. Like, it absolutely is a Typo influence music wise,
right.
But vocally to me, it's I can hear Morrison sing that more than I could hear Peter sing.
Yeah,
right.
And Jim Morrison was the original, other than crooners and stuff. That lower,
right.
Singing.
Yes,
exactly. He was that guy. He was almost like the first goth singer, really.
Yeah, no, totally.
No, think about it. There was obviously a lot of blues in the later Doors, but in that early stuff, that was very goth.
Yeah.
No, very true. Very true. Yeah, that's a good point.
You can find some tracks where it's like ridiculous. He's like really,
some
new music underneath it, and it would just be And then from him, obviously, you get Danzig. Elvis.
Yes.
Morrison,
fucking definitely. Yeah.
And he's another guy. Phenomenal. Those first three albums, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But out of all of them, the Peter Steele, Danzig, Morrison, like Morrison's the guy that, because I listened to him more than those other bands prior, like to me, that's what I hear.
Right.
Like always when in the studio and people will say like, oh, you're doing I'm like, oh, that's my Morrison voice. That's what I joke about it as, because I have a couple of different voices. I do my industrial metal voice, my Morrison voice, and then my Lane Staley voice,
Right.
And we
nice.
We don't really care. We just do whatever we want to do because Queen did it. So
of course. They do many different styles.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
Why not?
Well, because we're not AC/DC, you know what I mean? AC/DC did one thing,
Yeah, no, it's kind of the same.
Yeah, and it's great, But I always like the bands that basically do whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
And the Doors were like that. Zeppelin was like that. Queen was like that. The Who to a certain extent was like that,
Right.
A lot of those bands, but really Queen, they like went all over the place.
Oh, Queen, massively. So many different styles of music.
Disco and
I love it.
Funk.
Yeah.
And opera and rock and
kind of like Dog Fashion Disco.
I love that about them.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about them.
Yeah. They didn't give it. They would just do anything. And I always just really loved that. Like I didn't get it when I was growing up. I was like, why does everything sound so different? But then I was like, wow, this. They just don't care. They just do whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
The method to their madness. Yes.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
There's a band that Gina, my wife, got me into, Dog Fashion Disco, and those guys, it's just like they play whatever the fuck they want, and the music is just it's so dope. I mean, you hear it, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then it gets into and like, holy shit, this shit is bad. Then I find myself listening to it on fucking repeat. Now I'm a huge fan. Or like, huh?
I believe their genre is avant-garde.
Oh yeah, they're avant-garde. Yeah, that's their genre.
Avant-garde.
Yeah, I'm like, the fuck? But they're so out there.
one of the greatest things that happened to me was the fact that we never had a hit record, because it really allowed us to be able to write whatever we wanted to. I remember talking to Wayne Static when he was still alive. You know, we knew each other for a long, long time. As I said, I worked for him, did all his last music videos. And I remember talking towards the end of his career, and he was like, dude, I don't even know, like, if I want to do any new music, because people just want to hear Wisconsin Death Trip, because it was that big of a record. It was that amazing. It was that groundbreaking. It was evil disc. And he kind of felt at the end of his telling me personally, this is not me hearing it. He told me himself, you know, like, look, dude, it's tough trying. This was after Pig Hammer. He was like, man, it's tough trying to get it up to do another record, because people want to hear Wisconsin Death Trip. And that's part of the problem sometimes when you write these amazing records and create these styles. You know, you get stuck. And sometimes you can't even write one as even a little different. People just want to hear Wisconsin Death Trip Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, you know, and he had that issue for sure. And he used to talk to me about it, but we never had that issue because we never had a hit record. So after we did Slacker Jesus, I was like, I'm going to come out with a spoken word record. And now I'm going to make Exit Through Fear. And now we're going to do Ends Creation. Then I made a Gouth record, Lies. And then I started making with Rise from the Dead, you know. Then we did acoustic stuff. I love it. You know, and it was just all right, you know, and now and then we did metal stuff, and like, you know, it was just kind of just all over the place. And that's the one thing. And the only problem with that is that when people hear your name, like tonight, maybe they'll go to Spotify and they may land on a metal song and be like, nah, Lamb of God's better. And they may be right, but they missed the Type O song that came next, or they missed the that came next. You know, and that's part of the problem. Sometimes people land on stuff and they think, oh, that's just what this band sounds like. Right. Because nobody's used to bands that are all over the place anymore. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, most people also only have a 3 fucking second attention span, which is fucking sad. That in these days, like pay attention, like listen to the whole album, give it a chance. Don't just be like, oh, I'm going to listen to like 30 seconds of one song and think I know what this band's all about. No, check out their entire like fucking discography. Check out all their shit. Like listen to like how are you going to know Queen has all these different fucking sounds if you didn't listen to all the different versions of Queen? It's the same thing. Like you got to listen to the different stuff. Even like Led Zeppelin had many different types of sounds. Like they experimented, you know what I mean? And that's what you want in a band. Like I don't want to hear just the same fucking thing. Like I love fucking Slipknot and shit tons of other bands. But you know what? I don't want them to have the same fucking album over and over and over again. Like Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm sorry. I want something different and fresh every time. I don't want the same fucking like regurgitation over and over again.
I think everybody has their preferences. I mean, obviously that it also works the other way because AC/DC, that's what they do. And
I love AC/DC. You know? They're one of my favorite bands.
I think you go both ways.
It's the same type of sound over and over.
I think there's room for both. And
that's the joke,
obviously. But I just think that unfortunately, there's not enough bands like us anymore that do or that go out there. So a lot of people aren't ready or used to or accepting of it. You know, I personally love it because it allows me to do and be creative in all these ways. And like I said, in the next song that we're coming out with after this one's very different from the Type O. But then I think we're gonna go back to the goth stuff for like 5 or 6 more songs because people love when we do that shit. I don't know, like my Morrison voice just hits with all the young chicks. You know, so
love it.
Who might argue is, you know what I mean? I want the young chicks to write me and be, oh, I love you, you're so hot, and send me, you know, like crazy weird videos and shit.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, get some groupies going on. You know what I'm saying?
I think I've had enough groupies in my life. You know, I don't.
I know you have. Yeah. I know you have. That's the joke, Mister.
Yeah, I don't think the girlfriend would appreciate the groupies anymore, anyways. So.
Rock and roll porn king.
Hell yeah.
I fucking love it.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm stoked you came on the show, man. I'm really glad to have you, man.
I know. I was really excited for this one.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. And Jennifer, when you have a moment, just send me a link to wherever this posts, because like I said, I'm going to snip, and you guys are going to go everywhere. You'll see.
Okay.
Make sure you add me. I'll tag you everywhere. You'll love it.
Fuck yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate it. And just we want to thank everybody. We want to thank Matt Zane, aka Lord Zane, frontman, lead singer of the incredible controversial band Society One, for being on our show tonight.
Rockstars Don't Count on thunderflix.com.
There you go.
Yes.
Fuck
check out
yeah.
the movie because it's amazing. And everybody, we want to thank you for being on the show. Can you tell everybody real quick where they can find you besides the movie? Like social media
go
stuff.
to society1band.com and all the social media is there. We're everywhere
Hell
like everybody
yeah.
else. So, you know.
Awesome.
Get ready for
Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Watch the video before I get blown up.
And come on back next week for Wicked Entertaining as we have the incredible metal band Severed
One, baby.
On the show with the frontman Shyler Staver.
This guy.
Who is not just my co-host, but one of my partners in crime. So thank you everybody for watching tonight. We appreciate you and everything that you do. Come on back next week for another nutty installment of Wicked Entertaining.
Wicked!
Your hostess is Jennifer DeVoe Muse. Just check out all of our social media. Just go to getrealglobal.com, check out all of our stuff, and you can go to Jennifer DeVoe Muse on Linktree to see all of our social media and website links. Till next time, peace out. Stay safe.
See you later.
And don't get blown the fuck up.